Christian Horner weighed in on Formula One's rule revisions and how he expects performance gaps to shift in 2023. Following Red Bull's historic domination, he predicts that Formula One viewers will be rewarded with a title race for the championships in 2023. Want to know all about the 2023 season? Want to find out what will be new for Red Bull? Wait until the end and I guarantee you won't end the video disappointed. Before we get started, we need to know what the FIA has announced. There are 2 new rules for the next season. Will they be tough? Let's find out. Ex-FIA presidents are now prohibited from joining F1 teams for 6 months after leaving the governing body, according to a new rule. A change in FIA regulations would make it illegal for top executives from motorsport's governing body to be employed by F1 teams within 6 months after leaving the FIA. The new International Sporting Code, Article 9.17, imposes limits on FIA presidents and vice presidents of sport who resign their positions. A competitor entered in an FIA championship may not engage or use the services of a former president of the FIA or a former FIA deputy president for sport, whether as an employee, independent contractor, consultant, or otherwise, until 6 months have elapsed since the date that they ceased to hold the post of president or deputy president for sport. And in any event, the aforementioned competitor may not, without time limit, obtain, benefit from, or use confidential information obtained by a former president of the FIA or a former president delegate for sport of the FIA during their mandate, reads the amendment. Jean Todt is the only living former FIA president, having stepped down at the end of 2021 after serving in the position for 12 years. Prior to becoming FIA president, Todt was team principal and then CEO of Ferrari, where he led the team to 14 drivers and constructors titles. The FIA's new International Sporting Code, which goes into effect on January 1st, 2023, also prohibits F1 drivers from making political, religious, or personal remarks in public. The FIA has proposed a rule that would prohibit F1 drivers from making political, religious, or personal remarks without prior permission. The presentation of political, religious, and personal messages by F1 drivers is prohibited unless allowed by the FIA. In recent seasons, drivers such as Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel have sought to use their platforms to raise awareness about various themes and concerns. Hamilton and Vettel have mostly attempted to address problems of equality and social injustice. Hamilton used to wear t-shirts that said, "Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor" and "Black Lives Matter." Vettel has previously been fined for not removing an LGBTQ+ rights t-shirt, and earlier this year ran afoul of the Canadian authorities for displaying the statement, "Stop mining tar sands." The FIA published an amended International Sporting Code, which will go into effect on January 1st, 2023. Failure to comply with the instructions of the FIA regarding the appointment and participation of persons during official ceremonies at any competition counting towards an FIA championship will now be deemed a violation of the rules. Although no rules for these specific offenses have been provided, the majority of breaches in the International Sporting Code can result in race bans and €250,000 fines. According to the new rule, the general making and display of political, religious, and personal statements or comments, notably in violation of the general principle of neutrality promoted by the FIA under its statutes, unless previously approved in writing by the FIA for international competitions or by the relevant ASN for national competitions within their jurisdiction. The FIA continues to promote its own statutes, which prohibit discrimination against anybody on the basis of race, skin color, gender, sexual orientation, ethnic or social origin, language, religion, philosophical or political opinion, family situation, or disability. So, returning to Horner's comments on the Red Bull 2023 season, when asked if he thought Red Bull could maintain their dominant status into 2023, Horner stated he expected a strong fight back from their competitors. "I'd love to continue to dominate, but it's somewhat unrealistic in this business because the other teams are simply too good," responded Horner. "They will have learned a lot of lessons from this year, and I'm sure that cars will converge significantly in 23. The biggest winner from that is the fans. It's obviously more stressful for the teams, but the winner is the sport if there's more competition." Following one of the most significant rule changes in Formula One history, the Red Bull team battled Ferrari's early speed as well as their own reliability concerns to emerge as the dominant force of the 2022 season. The RB18 was piloted to 17 Grand Prix victories by title winner Max Verstappen and teammate Sergio Perez after winning the development race against Ferrari. However, there were no dramatic reshuffling of the grid order on the scale seen following the 2019 season regulation revisions, with Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes remaining the top 3 teams. Because of their performance, the remaining 7 teams only managed 1 podium finish. Lando Norris of McLaren at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Christian Horner, team principal at Red Bull, believes that a performance gap to the top 3 teams is unavoidable, but that all 10 teams will converge by 2023. It's inevitable after a big regulation change. I think I said it last year. There will be teams that have got it right, and there'll be teams that have got it wrong, said Horner. Who would have imagined that Mercedes have only won one race this year, after all the success that they've achieved in the previous 8 years? We were fortunate that we got it right, and we won a lot of races as a result of getting it right, but that will converge, and I've got no doubt that the statistics will look a little different again in 2023. Following race-ending reliability difficulties in 2 of the first 3 races, Red Bull went on to win 16 of the following 19 Grand Prix, including all but 1 in the season's second half. In addition to overcoming Ferrari's constant qualifying performance, Red Bull also held off a brief revival from Mercedes, whose season was marred by a defective car idea. Red Bull's comeback to championship contention follows a succession of slow seasons. Following their spectacular double championship achievement in 2013, they had a string of mainly poor years in the turbo hybrid era. Because of Mercedes' domination, Red Bull won just 17 races from 2014 to 2020, when the company's first championship-challenging V6-powered vehicle debuted in 2021. Horner saw Red Bull's triumph in 2021 and 2022 as a testament to the efforts of the core crew throughout their less-than-successful seasons. I think the team spirit and culture that we've always had has never lost belief or sight of the target of wanting to get back into a winning position, commented Horner. Obviously, we did have a few lean years off the back of the dominance in the V8 engine era to a big regulation change with the V6, but everybody focused on their part and doing the best that they could on the areas that they could influence. We kept a very strong core, we developed some young talent, and that's really starting to pay dividends. The Briton then emphasized the relevance of Red Bull's power units throughout their challenging years. A previously successful relationship with Renault soured during the turbo hybrid period, prompting the team to convert to a more beneficial Honda alliance. Once we managed to address the missing link, which was the powertrain, then the results started to come. Firstly, in the Drivers' Championship last year, then for the biggest regulation change we've seen in 40 years, added Horner. The team did an outstanding job in adapting in a very short space of time to these new regulations, and that's due to the strength and depth that we have. Moving on, we noticed that the 2022 BBC Sports Personality of the Year will be announced on Wednesday evening. The yearly award is awarded to the British athlete who's accomplished the most in a particular year. While no Formula One drivers are on the 6-person shortlist for the 2022 honor, the sport has produced several winners since the award's inception in 1954. Along with the overall prize, Formula One has been Young Sports Personality of the Year, Team of the Year, and World Sports Star of the Year winners, including Niki Lauda in 1977 and Sebastian Vettel in 2013. There are no surprises in determining the name of F1's next Sports Personality of the Year. Lewis Hamilton first received the medal in 2014 after narrowly defeating teammate Nico Rosberg in the Drivers' Championship that year. The Briton's second SPOTY victory came at the conclusion of a 2020 season in which he tied Michael Schumacher's record of 7 world championships. Though Hamilton's SPOTY tally does not equal his F1 title victories, the Briton has come second in the BBC award 4 times, in 2007, 2008, 2017, and 2018. With 6 top 3 finishes, Hamilton owns the all-time SPOTY record. He has 6, one more than snooker icon Steve Davis, with 2 victories and 4 runner-up finishes. Hamilton is one of 4 people to have won the award twice, with Mansell, Hill, and boxing icon Sir Henry Cooper. If you want to be a P1 in Formula One news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.